Hello, guys. You know what time it is? It's your boy, Dr. Earnie Royalty, your favorite host of the Royalty Mindset podcast. We have come again with another exciting episode as usual. This episode is, in fact, I can't even breathe because it's going to be so loaded. And this is not just because of me, but because of the guest that I have with me on set today. My guest today is a businessman who has been able to build a brand and has sold over $100 million in sales. This same man has built a lot of brands around his businesses and also has built a lot of people doing the same thing, and he still want to build more. He's a friend who has turned brother. We have done a lot together as well. And it took me a lot to be able to bring him on set today. And that is because he's a busy man. So just sit back and watch us talk. You will definitely not remain the same after this podcast. Permit me to introduce my guest for today. My guest is Ambassador Dr. Sam Uloho, my friend. Thank you so much for coming to my podcast.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Cheers to that. You know, I've been wanting to bring you on board for how long now? 7 years?
Not quite that long, but yeah, a long time.
But finally, we are here.
I'm happy to be here.
Again, thank you for being on the pod with me.
Absolutely.
We're going to be having a discussion regarding, business, lifestyle, building brands, all centered around how our mindset actually works and how it can take us to where we meant to be, So it promises to be fun, guys. It promises to be fun. Watch out and help us talk. Just hear us talk, and I know you're going to gain a lot from this. So, Dr. Sam, I'm going to start by asking you to give us a brief introduction of yourself. I know I did a little of, introduction based on what I could say here. Mm-hmm. So I leave it to you to take us to the next level with respect to you introducing yourself.
Well, like you said, I'm Sam, and a lot of people know me as the e-commerce guy. I've been in the e-commerce space for about 12 years now, actively, and I've been able to build an 8-figure brand in e-commerce. Started by selling on Amazon and later branched out to Shopify, Walmart Marketplace, even just recently we branched into TikTok Shop as well. No marketplace is left out because we're trying to get our products out there as much as possible. Visibility is key in e-commerce. So whichever marketplace it is, we're there. Even eBay is not left out. So like I said, I've been in the e-commerce space for quite a while, about 12 years. And fun fact, I started my e-commerce business with just $500.
Damn.
$500.
We commit to that because, guys, like I said, this is loaded. You're gonna hear stuff that's gonna blow up your head tonight or today, whenever you are. I don't know the time frame, the time zone you are currently on at this moment, but we are recording this in the night. So hear us very well. Sam, you see, one thing that fascinates me about you, or something that's so interesting about you to me.
Yep.
Ever since I know you, I've seen you. I've always seen you to be this guy with a certain mindset, like the way you think. We have a lot in common in the way we think, in our thought process, and all of that. You started your business very small. I know you are an advocate of always advising people to start very small. So take us to that journey. How did you start your brand? Okay. How was it like? What were you doing at that point in time? What were you doing before you actually started your business?
Thank you for the question. So first and foremost, when I moved to the US in 2010, I had set up a goal. I'd set a goal that I wanted to be self-employed. While I was in Nigeria, I was self-employed. I owned a business. And coming to the US, was a humbling experience for me because I came in and I started working at the Home Depot as a sales associate. So I used to run around asking customers, hey, are you finding everything okay? Is there anything I can help you find?
Yeah.
What do you want to buy? All that type of stuff. And then I take them to the aisle where that item is at and then they buy, and I'm happy. Yeah, the job's done. I was earning $10.25 an hour at the time. At the same time, I was going to school. I had to go back to college, even though I had a bachelor's degree from Nigeria. I had to go back to college and earn a degree, so it improved my chances of getting employment here. Now, while I was in college, would have all these textbooks. They make us buy textbooks and all that. And so I was like, hey, I don't want to keep hoarding all these textbooks after I finish a course. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna look for a way to sell them back. Amazon was the way. I went to Amazon, listed these textbooks, and they would sell within a day or two. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. I can actually find more items just like this and sell them on Amazon. So I'd go to like Goodwill, I'd go to any store I can find and just find any kind of item that I can just buy and resell on Amazon. And that's how my journey started. I was like, this is something actually interesting. I was like, could this be my key to becoming self-employed? And as time went on, I started diversifying. I was like, okay, what other kind of products can I sell on Amazon? I stumbled upon supplements, started selling supplements, dietary supplements. The US has a big, huge dietary supplement market.
You mean medicine?
Yes, supplements, non-prescription.
Over-the-counter type of?
Over-the-counter, yes.
Okay.
So I started, sourcing for those as well. I was selling them. The problem was I kept getting attacked by these big companies that owned the brands I was selling. They would report me, and then Amazon would take down my account and all that type of stuff. So I was like, what does it take to actually own a brand like these guys? And at the time I was making a little change here and there from it, but it wasn't. But the most important thing is I didn't give up. So 2012, I started researching about what's called private label. It's the e-commerce business model whereby you own your own brand.
Without having to sell other people's product now. You want to build your own brand.
Exactly. So that was where my main journey started. I started reaching out to suppliers, trying to find suppliers that would allow me order low quantity. The minimum order quantity from most suppliers was a little bit high. So I luckily found one that allowed me to buy just 50 bottles of a product. And when I did, I branded it, had to set up a trademark, branded that product, and then I started selling on Amazon. I sold out within just like probably a week or so.
Wow.
I was like, oh man, okay, this is interesting.
There's something here.
Yeah, there's something here. So at the time, I still had a credit card. So I took my credit card. I had a credit card, which, by the way, was a $500 limit credit card. I maxed it out, buying the next set of products. That's why I said I started my business with $500.
With $500. And even this $500, sorry to call it short, this $500 was even on credit.
Yes.
On credit card. You didn't use your personal funds.
I didn't use my personal funds.
Please go ahead.
I had a job, not that great of a job.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, at the time I started, I had a job where I was earning about $25 an hour. I'd left the Home Depot at the time. So
Okay.
Still some progress there. When I started with that $500, I sold out again within less than, I would say just a few days, probably not up to a week. I was like, oh man, how am I going to get more inventory? Like, I can't keep up with this demand. So I took my car, which was already paid off at the time. It was a Nissan Maxima 2006. I took it and I went to One Main Financial. It's a loan company. Went there.
You kind of found it.
Gave them my title.
Yeah.
And took a $5,000 loan from them. And then I put that in the business. Boom. Sure enough, my bet paid off. And I sold out that inventory again. So, okay, I went to a friend. I told him, I said, hey, you have 401k, right? Okay, if you can pull out 15K from your 401k and put it in my business, I will be transparent with you with everything that's going on. You would have full visibility and we'll share the profit 50-50. He agreed.
Wow.
Gave me $15,000. Sure enough, within 2 weeks, I sold out of everything, paid him his money back with profits. And I had enough to keep the inventory going. Gradually, the banks started noticing I was getting loans and all that, and that's how I started growing. And it wasn't until about 2014 was when I paid myself for the first time. I paid myself $1,000, and at the end of the month, and I was like, wow, I finally got a paycheck from this, because all along I had been just reinvesting.
Yes.
To cut the long story short, in 2016, I was already earning over 100,000, 6 figures in my IT job, but in my business, I was already earning over 30,000 a month. Paying myself that.
Say that again, please. Say that again, because something just, it's tingling in my spine right now. So as at that time, your job was paying you 6 figures a year, right? Which is maybe like $10,000 a month. And then, but your business was already paying you 30 grand a month.
Yes.
A business that you started just like less than 5 years before then.
Let me make something clear.
Yeah.
A business profitability doesn't necessarily mean that's what goes in your pocket. You have to buy inventory. You have to advertise, all that type of stuff. So by 30 grand a month, I'm not saying profit.
That was not net. Okay.
No. Listen.
Okay.
30 grand a month, I mean I was pulling that into my pocket monthly, because my business was making much more than that, and I had enough money to keep the business going while paying myself that.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
You see what I mean?
So you were able to pay yourself a salary of $30,000 salary a month.
Yes.
That is not your gross. That is just your salary you decide to pay yourself.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and it felt good.
Of course. Cheers to that, bro, because this is an inspiration, right? Because the reason why we're having this discussion is for people to learn from your experience. I'm also learning from your experience. I know you've told me this story before, but a lot of people haven't heard this. And I know when you told me this story, I was inspired. I was prompted to even do more than I was doing at that point in time. So there are a lot of people out there that are watching this right now that are going to be challenged and inspired to really go out and start doing something bigger than they are currently doing.
I hope so. Because that's the goal. Now, it got to a point where I had to choose between my job or the business, because the business at that point in time was demanding so much of my time and attention. And so was my IT job. I was in IT security, by the way. So I remember then I would be in my office at work and all these laptops for work, and I'd have my own laptop for business and doing both at the same time. I was like, damn, if I get caught, I'll get fired. And not like I cared if I got fired, but there was still that fear of, wow, is this real? Am I really making this amount of money? I better hold on to my job just in case, you know? You know what I mean? So I came up with a plan. I was like, okay, how about I save 2 years worth of my paycheck? My job was paying me this amount. How about I save 2 years worth of that, of my annual pay? And of course, I was in the IT space. I felt like I could get a job like this if anything,
easily,
if anything happened to my business. So I saved 2 years worth of my paycheck, kept that in an account. They didn't touch it. And then I took a leave of absence from my job for 2 months just to test drive what it would look like being fully self-employed. And after that 2 months leave of absence, that was it. I went back to work after the 2 months. I actually did go back. They threw a party for me. There was sushi everywhere. There was donuts. The whole company was welcoming me back, It felt good on that day. But the next day, when I woke up in the morning and wanted to go to work, I was already too used to the lifestyle of waking up and doing my own thing and just like looking at my e-commerce business and thinking of ways to improve it and thinking of ways to expand it and all that type of stuff. I was used to that. So when I woke up the next day, it didn't feel good going back to work. So I was like, I think this is it. I think I'm there. I think I need to quit. So that was a Friday. That morning I woke up and didn't go. So I called in sick. And then on Monday, I went to work with a resignation letter. And I told them, hey, I apologize, but I can't even do 2 weeks. I can't give you 2 weeks notice. Wow. Because I just couldn't handle it anymore. So That was how my whole full-time entrepreneurship journey started in 2016 August.
Wow. Wow.
And at the time, my business was still 7 figures. But the moment I quit my job and I was able to focus on my business fully, the growth was exponential, to say the least. And busted into the 8-figure mark. And, it's never stopped growing since then.
Wow. The sky is just a stepping stone, as I can see. You've been able to scale this brand from scratch to where it has become 8 figures now.
Yes.
When we're talking about 8 figure, that is not a joke. And to have an 8-figure brand in America is no joke. I am so happy for you, bro, because I see where you're going. I see what you've done so far, and I know where you're heading. Cheers to that again. This is just a chill conversation we're having, and it is basically to inspire people out there. Yeah, I'm also still being inspired by your journey. I'm very, very inspired. Let's think about this. In every business, there's always a risk. You will have to always think about mechanisms being put in place to continuously mitigate this type of, whatever kind of risk that arise. It could be from staff, it could be from your manufacturer or whatever. So what have you always done? Have you ever think about, business folding up one day as a result of people not managing what they're supposed to manage very well? And what are the things you always think of?
I think every single entrepreneur out there, and they would probably agree with me when they say this, we all think about that all the time. And that's why entrepreneurs don't play. We work so hard. A lot of people think when you leave the 9 to 5 and then you're an entrepreneur, you're just enjoying life. No, actually, we work probably 5 times more than the 9 to 5 people. And here's one thing I'm going to point out. So, by the way, apart from an e-commerce business, which is my main foundation, I also went into real estate. Not just real estate, I went into real estate development, which is buying lands, building properties, as you already know. I also went into the Airbnb market. When I build properties, I decide if I want to sell them or if I want to rent them out long term or if I want to put them on the Airbnb market. I have a few properties on Airbnb. Most of my properties are on long-term rental and all that type of stuff. So in real estate, I'm a developer, I'm an Airbnb guy, and I'm a long-term, lease, whatever that's called. But I've also done transportation, had semi-trucks as well. I'm also in the stocks market, done a lot of cryptocurrency trading and all that. So the point I'm trying to make here is I've been able to come up with a system that I feel like it works for me. And this is what I always preach in my coaching. Start small. Whatever it is you want to do, start small. It helps you build that business state of mind over time. Start small. Even if you have the capital to start big, start small. Learn the foundation. Learn everything that's involved. Take your time to learn the process. And then it's going to be like a light bulb come up in your head. When a light bulb's going to come up in your head, when it's time to scale, you'll be like, I think I'm ready. At that point in time, you can get a loan, pump some more of your own capital in the business, whatever you got to do. But don't be in a hurry to start making profit. Think about it like a newborn baby that's born. That needs
to take care of.
The baby needs to learn to, to crawl, then to walk, and then to, So think about it that way. Like you're babysitting this baby every day. You're teaching this baby how to learn ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s and all that type of stuff. That's how you should look at your business. I bet you, if there's a business you have in your mind today and you decide, you know what, I'm done wasting time, I'm going to go get my LLC and I'm going to start this business today. You don't know what the next step would be. You don't know if you're going to, you don't know what you're going to do next. You're not a master of that business. But because you started small, and every single day you wake up and you're like, okay, what can I add? What value can I add to this business today? Even if it's just 2 sentences of a product description you come up with in a day. If you do that every single day, where do you think you're going to be in 5 years?
A lot of progress would have been made. They say
because I have a lot of friends that tell me, teach me e-commerce, come and teach me e-commerce. I'm like, look, I wish I had the time to teach you. Honestly, I would teach you, but I don't have the time. And as a business person, I have to account for my time. Opportunity cost matters in business. If I make $1,000 an hour, I'm not going to waste 2 hours without getting paid $1,000 each hour at least. Or if I spend 2 hours with you, you got to pay me $2,000 because that's my opportunity cost. You see what I mean?
Time is money, of course.
Time is money. So basically, in business, just go ahead and get started. You know, and you would learn every single day and add to your business. Some friends have come to me and said, teach me e-commerce. I didn't teach them because I didn't have the time. Not that I don't want to teach them. But I didn't have the time. And then years later, like 3-4 years later, they're like, wow, you know, you're doing so well for yourself and all that type of stuff. You never taught me this. And I'm like, if you are taking my advice 4 years ago or 3 years ago or 5 years ago, when I told you to start, and you were adding just a little bit of one piece at a time, building that business brick by brick, where do you think you would be now, 4 years later? Instead of you still coming to accuse me that I didn't teach you this thing, you would have built something for yourself over that period of time because you would have gathered experience over the years.
One thing about people, one thing about people is that they always want to be spoon-fed. You know, a lot of people, you will tell them, or give them an idea. An intelligent man would pick that idea and would do something with it immediately. But some still want to, you know, be handheld and spoon-fed to actually get to the point where they're supposed to get to. It doesn't always work out like that. People are busy and people have stuff to do. If all I need is a goal, like, hey, this is the way, just go. And I will run with that information. That's how I've been able to scale whatever I have scaled today. You know, that is that. You've always talked about building a brand. You know, what is so important in brand building? Can you tell us something about that?
Well, when you build a brand, you're building an asset. And you can potentially exit that brand someday for a good amount of money. In the e-commerce space, for example, if you were selling someone else's product, you're helping that person increase the value of their brand. You're making money. But, you know, I mean, you probably heard of the wholesale business model.
Absolutely. I actually started my e-commerce with wholesale.
Awesome.
Before you advised me to start my own brand.
So the retail arbitrage is kind of like the entry level. You also have the drop shipping and all that. Wholesale is a little bit higher up, in my opinion. And then private label is the ultimate, where you want to be. So with PL, I'll give you an example. I sold a brand, one of my small brands, I sold it for $3.8 million in 2019.
Wow. $3.8 million.
Yes. You see what I mean? So if I was a wholesale e-commerce guy, I wouldn't have anything to sell.
because you didn't own the brand.
Because all I have is, you know, basically processes. I, you know, buy in bulk and I sell. I'm just pretty much like a middleman. But when you own your own brand, then people buy your own stuff and they sell. You have middlemen, just like the wholesale guys, selling your products. And the more you sell, the more value your brand is having. If in future, a bigger company decides, you know what, we need to acquire these guys, then they sit down at the negotiation table and offer you some millions of dollars and they buy your brand. And that would make you happy because you look at it up there and you're like, I built that.
I built that brand.
Well, apart from that, building a brand, it gives you more profitability. You set your own prices. There's so many advantages to it. I can't even start to
very. I mean, you couldn't have said it better than the way you said it.
Yes.
Just to add to what you said, right? You know, brand building it transcends just building a product these days. Yeah.
Yes.
You can have a personal brand, which is what is in vogue at this moment. You know, I'm building more of a personal brand for myself at this moment, not just building products. I'm building personal branding. I'm doing personal branding. Having this podcast, for example, is a personal brand.
Yeah.
Bringing my face and putting my face out there, people get to know me. I'm basically building a personal brand. So, guys, it's not just about building a product, a physical product. It can be a digital product. It can be a product which is yourself, because you yourself,
Yep.
you are a product.
Okay.
Like I mentioned this some time ago in one of my podcasts, in one of my episodes, and I said, you are the chief executive officer of your personal brand,
Yes.
meaning that you are responsible for bringing out yourself and making yourself known to the public.
Mhm.
And you can build people just to see your face. You can build people just to speak to them.
Yeah.
When I thought in my early days of this podcast, I released an episode and somebody saw it in London and said, I would love to bring this dude to my program in London to come speak to my people. I was just starting. Maybe that was my fourth episode, and I just talked about something that struck this man's attention, and it was like, I would like to bring this dude to London so he could speak to my people. That is personal branding, which can translate into money. You become your own personal product,
Yep.
and you make money by
Yes.
just being not, and stuff like that. So branding indeed is important.
And also, owning your own brand, actually, for me, it kind of gives me a sense of purpose. It's almost
Yeah.
like, like raising kids,
Yeah.
I'm like, I wake up every day and I think about how to make this brand better.
Mm.
It's just a fun thing to watch.
Mm.
Just watch something you started from scratch, and then you see people actually buying it. I have people, for example, I interviewed someone for a marketing position, and I said, hey, this is the brand you're going to be working on, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I can't believe this. I actually use this product.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And I was like, interesting. Okay, I've heard that a lot too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've seen people that would say, hey, I've been seeing this product in Walmart. I didn't know you owned it. I'd be like, yeah, it makes me feel good because this is something I started by myself from scratch. Now, a lot of people think, oh, it's too difficult to build a brand. I might as well just do something else, or it might take too long or whatever. First and foremost, I like to say, you have to get in the e-commerce state of mind. Or not just e-commerce, because you can build a brand that's offline, that's not even sold online.
Yeah.
So when you're in the business state of mind, when you build a brand, you can start small and understand everything that's needed to get that brand to fruition, to success. And then you can grow gradually. Now, a brand of your own, the most important things you should think about is visibility and conversion. Visibility is, how do I get my products in front of people, potential buyers? Now, conversion is, how do I make these people decide to buy it when they see it? If you have visibility, but your product doesn't look enticing, or you're not convincing them enough, probably because of the way the design
packaging,
of the
all of that
is and all that, they would see it, but then they don't buy it. You've lost conversion, or your conversion would suffer. So if you have good visibility and you have good conversion, boom, that's success.
Visibility and then
conversion, yes.
Which is merely the act of marketing.
Yes.
Whether it's social media marketing.
We were just having a chat about paid ads.
Yeah. Yes, we just discussed that.
Never underestimate the power of paid ads, paid advertising. You want to get your product to as many people as possible at any cost.
Yeah.
Whatever it's going to cost you to do that, go ahead and do that. So think about this. If you start a business small, you start a brand small, let's assume you go on a wholesale website. You could go to Alibaba or whatever. Some people use Alibaba, I don't. And you buy a pen for $1. and you ship it to the US and you sell it for $2, you've made $1 profit.
Yep.
It sounds small, especially if you're already making like 6 figures or 8 or 7 figures in your job, your 9-to-5 job. It sounds like, I don't want to waste my time doing that. But do it. Start as small as possible, as small as you can afford, with the amount of money you can afford to lose. Because what this does to you is you've mastered the process of contacting a supplier, shipping from your supplier,
getting it down
yourself or to your warehouse, listing that product, making sure the conversion is up to par, making sure the conversion is good, launching paid advertising on it. You're mastering all those processes. Getting it sold, getting your money back from the marketplace that sold it. If it was Amazon, they pay you the money, after their fees.
2 weeks or whatever. Yeah.
You've mastered that process. Now you can be like, you know what? I think I'm ready for 5 pens.
You just scale from that point on.
I've mastered this process, so why not do 5 pens? Now, here's where advertising comes in. You're like, let me test paid advertising. Let's assume for each pen you sell, you make $5 profit. What that means is if you sell 100 pen, you make what? 5,000? No, my bad. That's my massive matter.
You say 1 pen, how much?
1 pen, you make $5 profit.
Yes.
So if you sell 100, you make $500.
$500.
Now, here's the thing. If you're going to make $500 from selling 100 pens, right? But it's going to take you 2 weeks to sell 100 pens. What if you could launch advertising campaigns
to reach more people?
Would make it reach more people.
Yeah.
And then you sell out that 100 pen within 2 days instead of 2 weeks.
That's good turnover.
But that advertising campaign is going to cost you $200. Now, let me take you back. You were going to make $500 in profit from selling 100 pens in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
But if you spend $200 out of that $500 profit, you might have to spend it up front, but at the end of the day,
it takes care of itself.
It all balances out. Now, you spend $200 on advertising, and you're able to sell those pens, 100 of them, in just 2 days. Will you do it?
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
That's smart, because now you just sold out 100 pens in 2 days. If you go back, order another 100, you sell it out in another 2 days.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it means that ad campaign is giving you, it's a profitable ad in the sense that you're making $300 profit from spending $200 in ad.
And in a few, less than number of days. So you have your turnover comes out quickly, and it's all about quantity at this stage. The quantity you are able to dispose and make quick cash back, go back to the market, do more ordering, and turn it out again. So
if you for every $200 you spend, you're making $300. Now, if you had decided not to do ads because you want the full $500 profit, you would spend 2 weeks
before you're able to get out.
Before you're able to make $500.
Yes.
Me, on the other hand, because I'm spending $200, I'm selling out in 2 days. In 2 weeks, how much do you think I would have made? $300. 2 weeks, let's assume that's 14 days.
Yes.
That would be $200. That was $300 times 7 that I would have made in profit.
Which is about $2,100.
Boom. Then I'm like, you know what? For each $200 I spend, I'm making $300. How about I spend $1,000 in ads?
You make more money.
At that point in time, I can't meet up with my demands.
Yeah.
Because I just have 100 pens. I just have money to buy 100 pens at a time. Then I go to the banks or whatever, or my family or whatever. I find money however possible. If I have a 9-to-5 job, get money for my 401k, whatever I can do. Because now I need like 1,000 pens.
Yeah.
So that's how you scale.
The more you sell, the more you make. Yes.
That's how you grow in e-commerce.
That is so dope.
The power of advertising is insane. You see companies, these big companies, spend so much in advertising, and people are wondering, why would you spend? That's it, because their ads are profitable. If the ads are profitable, there's no limit to how much you can spend. On one of my my brands, I spend over 250 grand a month on ads.
250K
And
$250,000
some people
on ads
would scream and say, "What?" But do you know how much that ad makes me?
Yeah.
That's why I won't stop spending. If I could spend 500, I would spend, because those ads are converting. So paid advertising is very powerful.
Indeed.
And also, one other good reason to start small is when you start small, you're able to gradually measure the success of your advertising. And then when you hit that sweet spot of profitability, you're like, this is it. I've nailed it. And then you can just start increasing your orders, your wholesale orders, and then launching, basically.
In fact, starting small is also a way of testing things out.
Yes.
To know exactly what works and what doesn't.
Yes.
So you start small, be very attentive at that point in time, and then watch it grow and see what works, what doesn't work. And then you figure it out, you start doing what works. And then you start scaling rapidly from that moment on.
Yep.
Man, this is, mind-opening and very big and very huge. I know a lot of people are going to be getting a lot from this. So tell me, let's take it back to when you started. Let's say, what would you do differently if you were to start again based on what you now know? You've spent so many years in the industry right now, and you have learned a lot. You made a lot of mistakes while starting. Now you basically have come across so many things you could have done better. What would that be if you were to start?
What would you do differently? Yes. I'm already doing it now, because in entrepreneurship, there's no starting and ending. No, you're always starting something new. So I'm always applying what I would have done differently. And I'll tell you that in a second. I'm always applying that mistake I made, I'm applying it in every new venture I get into, which is spend to get visibility. If I could do something differently back then, what I would have done is pump more money into advertising.
Wow.
That would have accelerated my growth in business. Now, I wouldn't pump that money into advertising at the starting point when I was still learning the business.
Okay.
I would pump more money into advertising when I noticed that I was at a point of profitability. I'd be like, okay, it's time to advertise. I was very fearful of advertising then, because I was like, this is too expensive, man. My credit cards could get in charge for advertising costs and all that. But what I wasn't paying attention to was the fact that all that money I was spending on advertising, I was getting them back almost 2 times.
Yeah.
So what was stopping me from spending more?
That is so true. That is true. Fear. When I started my first e-commerce brand in 2021, that was actually when I started I had my first stint in e-commerce. It was Shopify. And that was really a big blow on me, because I was not fully involved in the business. I had bought a franchise because it was advertised to me as a franchise.
Okay.
I remember buying that business with $30,000.
Wow.
Yes. That was 2021, just right after COVID. I needed an online business, because during COVID, so many things shut down. It was only online stuff that could thrive. So I was then interested in starting up an online business. So I decided to buy a franchise, an e-commerce franchise.
Yeah.
And then I asked the people to take care of it, because I was very busy delivering on some other stuff. And I'm not going to be able to really manage this business. Since you guys sold it to me, if you can manage it, we can share the profit, 70-30%, and we all agreed. And then I will spend a lot of money on ads, because these guys will tell me, hey, you need to spend money on ads. I'll be like, how much more will I need to spend? I spent this one last week.
Were you measuring the ads? Were you measuring the results from the ads, though?
I knew nothing about it.
Okay.
I just left this whole business for these guys to handle. But all I know is that I was sending checks for ads, and I wasn't getting what they said I was supposed to be getting. Probably they were not placing the ads the right way. So that's another thing that people also need to know. Knowing what to do when it comes to advertising, so you can get the right audience that are needed for your brand or your business.
Or, if you weren't looking at the reports,
I wasn't.
They probably weren't spending as much as they told you they were spending.
Maybe
in ads.
Yeah.
Because again, one thing you got to notice in e-commerce is, and this is one of the reasons why I was so reluctant with starting my e-commerce coaching business, because I didn't want people to see me as one of the scams out there. I didn't want to put a dent on my name, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure some people would see this and say he's telling the truth. I have people, many people, telling me they want to be mentored by me, and they're offering me money, but I refuse it because I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I have the time.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Now I've mentored a few people, you know. Some of them are, you know, 8-figure sellers right now. One of my early mentees is actually an 8-figure seller doing super big on Amazon. Several of them are 7-figure sellers, and they all started and used the same methodologies and systems I used. Now, why am I saying this? If the person was telling you they were spending on ads, but you weren't really seeing what they were doing, there's a chance that they were one of those scams out there taking your money, because any responsible company that takes your money and tell you they're spending on ad would show you reports of what the ads are doing, and then you'll be able to see your conversion. You'll be able to see how much percentage of people viewing your ads are actually adding to cart and buying.
Yeah, I was looking at the report. I was able to get on the system and check those reports though. I saw people really coming on, only those that they were not being converted. Probably were targeting the wrong audience. Yeah. Because that's one thing, because in this day and age, have ventured into the digital marketing space as well. So I know that if you do not target the right audience, you literally just selling to people that are not potential buyers.
Questions of competency.
Exactly.
Are they actually competent? A lot of people.
Exactly.
And one thing I got to point out is this: if you're an e-commerce person that's successful, you don't have time. You're always super busy. You're either managing employees, you're strategizing, you're working on ads, you're looking at reports, you're looking at creatives, you're doing competition analysis. There's a lot of stuff to do every day. How do you tell me you're an e-commerce guy that's making 8 figures or 7 figures and you have the time to go online and look for thousands of people to come sign up for courses that you're going to train them on? How do you have that time?
It's difficult.
Now,
it's difficult.
Let's assume you magically have that time. How do you handle all those students that are going to need all these tools and all these knowledge to get their e-commerce businesses to success? You're simply not going to have the time.
It is going to be very, very difficult indeed.
Now, this is the reason why it took me some time to get into the coaching business, because I will never take a dime from someone and leave them hanging. It's not going to happen. You know? So here's the thing.
Integrity.
Yeah, integrity is very important.
Yes.
My name is important to me. I have a destination I feel like I'm trying to get to. And I need my name intact to be able to get there.
Absolutely.
You see what I mean? So I got to use this opportunity to warn everyone watching this. If you're trying to get into e-commerce, beware of scam. Let people show you their results before you invest. I'll show you my results right now. I never
Straight
hide.
Up. I know you never hide that. You never hide that. You always show it.
As you can see. Okay. Today you can see this on the top left corner. And you can refresh it if you want, if you think it's
today so far
I've done sales of $61,000. Yesterday, let me see. Yesterday we did almost 80K. The day before, look at the chat.
I see here.
And you know, and look at this is on this corner here. You can see it says
72.
Wait, hold up. Let's go back to the home screen. I want you to see something. How much does this say for the last 30 days?
Last 30 days, 2.2 million. $2.2 million in the last 30 days.
I don't know if the camera can catch that, but it's right there. So I always show my results. And this is just one Amazon account.
One account.
Now, I also sell in the Walmart marketplace. TikTok marketplace. eBay. And multiple Shopify websites. And I have other Amazon accounts as well. So,
see, that's massive.
That's massive. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that, bro.
You know, and our sales are consistent. I can show you my sales history all the way back to when I started.
Yeah.
And you're going to see the consistent growth. I'm never.
That's the integrity I just talked about, because
show
there are a lot of sellers out there who are trying to coach people. They will never show you results. I've encountered somebody who could not really show me his results.
We've hit the 8-figure mark since 2019, and I've consistently done 8 figures
ever since then, for the past 5 years.
And when I'm saying 8 figures, I'm not talking about 11 million or thereabouts. I'm talking about, high 20s of millions.
Wow.
Annually. And this is a private label brand, so your profit margins are a lot higher than wholesale. So always ask questions before
committing to these guys
to an e-commerce training.
If
you wanted to hire a driver, would you hire someone that hasn't demonstrated that they could drive? They don't have a driver's license? No. So if you want to hire someone to manage your 401k accounts or your investment accounts, do you ask questions like, what have you managed? What can you do for me? Right? You want to see, if you go to you go downtown and you want to eat at night, you look across the street, you see a long line of people queuing up to eat in a restaurant, and then you look across the street again, you see just like two people eating in a restaurant. Which one are you going to go to? The one
with more people. Right? It means something is being done.
So exactly. So okay, they probably have good food there. So I'm going to go there. So always ask for results. That's always ask to see results. And it's not just anyone that comes and shows you so much dollars or a Lamborghini or this that's an e-commerce expert. So just be super careful about that.
I just have 2 quick questions before we run it up. I know we have said a lot today. People are being blessed. So your birthday is coming up. Yeah. Happy birthday in advance, brother.
Thank you.
So I know it's a thing of joy when you're celebrating your birthday and you're looking back to where you're coming from and how you have arrived at where you are today. It's always a thing of joy when you know that you're doing very well for yourself. You always want to, you don't feel old. Ask a 50-year or a 30-year-old guy that is not doing so well right now about how their life is going. They're going to tell you, oh, I feel old, But ask a 50-year-old man who has achieved a lot. They'll tell you, I'm 50. They'll probably tell you I'm 50 because they know they've achieved what a 50-year-old should actually achieve.
Never thought about it that way, but that sounds true. Yeah.
Take it from me right now. So that's how I feel anytime I'm celebrating my birthday. So what advice? I'm just asking for the final advice with respect. I know you've given a lot of advice so far. What advice are you going to be giving people out there, your fellow guys, ladies watching this right now, on how they should take their life to be in terms of what they should be doing, what they should be doing that they are not doing? And generally, what is the advice you want to give to people in celebrating your birthday as you are celebrating your birthday currently?
Well, you know yourselves, what it is you have in mind that you want to do. Just go ahead and start. Don't wait another day. Go ahead and sign up, register that LLC. That's the first step. You've taken the first step. Worry about the next step after you've taken the first step. Just get started. And don't stop. After you get started, keep at it. Don't stop. Look for new ways to add value to your business every single day. And also, be a good person. I always have this belief that one of the reasons why I cannot fail, and I can't fail, I strongly believe that, and I've always believed that since I was a kid, is because I have a good heart for everybody around me. When I meet people, the first thing that comes to my mind is, how can I add value to this person? If I see a guy that's wealthier than me, for example, I sat in a private jet with one of my mentors. In his private jet, we flew to Barcelona. And throughout that flight, all I kept thinking about is, what can I do for this guy that would make him, that would add value to his life? Because if I'm able to do something for him that adds value to his life, he's going to always remember my name.
Yes.
He's going to feel like, okay, this guy is a good guy. Let me reciprocate in some way or the other. And even if he reciprocates by just giving me advice or mentoring me, that's okay for me. But I'm not looking at him like, how can I get some money from this guy? No, I'm looking at him like, how can I add value to his life? So always look for ways to add value to people's lives, and you will never regret it.
Wow. Beautiful advice, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on board my podcast today, the Royalty Mindset Podcast. Indeed, this has been a fantastic episode. I have personally gained a lot. Just in closing, he said, don't just look for what you gain from people. Think of what you can also give. That is what life is all about. Not just receiving, you also have to give. That is what he just explained in the summary. Again, happy birthday in advance, brother.
Thank you, my brother.
And then more life, more prosperity, and more of God's grace and mercy, and of course blessings.
Yes.
Cheers, brother. Thank you for coming again.
Thanks for having me. Absolutely. I had so much fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
Until we come your way again the next time, keep watching the Royalty Mindset Podcast. We'll cut it off from now. Bye.